Welcome to the Stronger Together podcast brought to you by Sandpoint Strength and Conditioning. I'm your coach, Kenny Marquardt. Today, I'm joined by another one of your coaches, Crystal Baines. Crystal's been at the gym for 10 years and has recently had some pretty freaking amazing accomplishments, and I strung her into coming on the podcast. Not really. She was quite willing to, but yeah, she's awesome. I love her story, love what she's gone through, love what she has to say, so I know that you will enjoy it as well. Crystal, hello.
Morning.
See you in a different context. I walked out of the gym an hour ago and saw you there. Now we're both at home. I wanted to check in with you. You've had some milestones, and I wanted to chat with you about them. So thanks
Had
for...
a couple.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just jump into that.
All right.
Tell me about your milestones as much as it probably you don't want to. I know you have. You've been actually I've been really appreciated your silent sharing with me, but tell me and everybody else what you've accomplished.
Well, two of the biggest things I'm excited about. First is where I shared with you a little over a month ago now that I hit my 100-pound weight loss milestone. And it wasn't that I necessarily felt like I still needed to lose more, but I just wanted to do it to say I did it because I was so close anyway. And I hit that. And that was pretty cool because when I started right before the gym, almost 10 years ago now, over 10 years ago now, I was I don't really know, but I was 242 pounds the last time I stepped on the scale. And I think I probably got bigger at that point, but I didn't want to see it, so I didn't. And I've lost 100 pounds now. But more exciting to me, and I have my numbers here because I like that.
That's awesome.
The highest body fat percentage I recorded, and we didn't have the InBody when I first started at the gym.
Right.
It was more the caliper test. So I don't really know what my body fat percentage was when I started, but I would guess it was significantly higher than what I have here was 36.6. And as of last week, I was 17.7.
Oh my gosh.
So that is over 18% over 18% change in body fat recomposition. But more exciting is my muscle I've been able to maintain while doing that. Totally. And to me, that was my biggest goal was I want to lose that body fat, but I don't want to compromise the muscle mass that I've gained in this process either. And so nutrition is what came into play with that. And I kind of nerded out pretty deeply on that. And here we are.
Yeah. Man, there's so much I want to dig into with it. Because you've also been doing you've been sharing a lot about your pull-up journey. Like you've been doing weighted pull-ups and there's two numbers that stand out to me. And this, I'd say this delicately, be for females to do weighted pull-ups, that is a huge accomplishment just because that's.
Well, I think pull-ups in general as a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Upper body pulling strength, just definitely not it's harder. So anyways, be doing, what did you weighted pull-up with what the other day, 22 pounds?
I did 23 pounds for sets of 3.
Yeah.
So, and then I attempted 24 pounds and I got 2.25 reps on that one. Nice. But I preface that with, I was doing a supersets with dumbbell bench press at the same time.
Okay.
So I think if I went into it fresh and wasn't doing combo of it, I'm probably a little bit higher than that, which is pretty exciting.
That's so
awesome.
awesome.
I was sharing with you my goal is I'm pretty close to doing it right now, is to do 20% of my body weight for weighted pull-ups for reps. Not just one. I want to do for reps.
Yeah. Huge. I mean, that's 1% of the world could probably do that. I mean,
I looked it up.
Did you really?
I did.
I think I said that on a text message.
Yes, because I was I wonder how rare that actually is. And it was kind of broad, but it said between 1% and 5% of the world's women's population could do that. Yeah. So it's pretty up there. And that's pretty exciting. And
you're not 20 years old, right? I mean, that's so just to kind of further add some extra to that, the 20-year-old peak of their hormonal development, nothing else going on. That's a gymnast. Sorry, let's pull them out of the pool.
I have 5 kids and I will be 44 next week. Yeah. And, age is a thing.
Yeah. That pool, you are a big fish in that pond. That's awesome. So that's one thing. And then the 17% body fat is that's remarkable.
I don't know that I necessarily had goal per se to get this low. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know how maintainable it is. For right now, I think it's pretty maintainable with where I'm sitting with my nutrition, to be honest. I'm pretty happy because, anything under 20 was just icing on the cake for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I just love, I mean, the way you've gone about this and the way that like you're able to perform and the way that you look, like there's just everything that, like, again, I want to say that like as objectively as I can, like I just feel like you are like it's such a good example of, and such a remarkable example too, right? It's like you and I have both seen people do like drastic, holy crap, like this is the exact opposite of what we're talking about, but what you've done is
Yes.
just like, it's so amazing.
Well, and I think for a lot of people, everyone wants the quick,
Yeah.
dramatic changes.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does. That's just natural. And how I've done it is not the sexy sell. I mean, it's been years in
Yeah.
the making where I've, lost large amounts of weight and then I've maintained for quite a while. And then I would lose and maintain, but all the while still consistently showing up and putting in the work. It wasn't in 3 months or 6 months or even a year, I'm going to transform everything about myself. I mean, it was just that habit stacking,
Yeah.
and changing my life really more
Yeah.
than anything, but slowly and over time so that it's doable.
Yeah. Yeah. How does it feel?
Good.
How does it
I mean,
feel?
really
Yeah. I mean,
good.
like, so physically, emotionally, like, what's,
So I remember a time meeting with someone and they asked me, this was when I was with the nutrition coach, what do you think will be different once you've lost all the weight? Like, will you be a happier person? Will you be, you know, different somehow? And for me, the answer is yeah, I am a happier person. I am. I mean, I just feel so much better in my body and
yeah.
just being able to go out and do all the things that, I didn't think at this stage of my life I would be comfortable doing because I think, in my family generationally, once you're over your 40s, they were typically overweight, out of shape, and they weren't out playing with the kids and going on these extreme hikes or, like doing the ruck race that I did last year. Things like that, I don't give a second thought to. I don't
Yes.
have to really expand my training that much for where I'm at if I want to go do something that's considered in a lot of other worlds, extreme. It's not. It's just my life now, and that's a pretty cool place to be.
I'm sure the number is significant, but is what you just said more like, is that the demonstrable happiness indicator that you've would be seeking rather than the number? I'm asking in a weird
Um,
way, but
it's interesting. When I started, of course, we all have our ideal number in mind of what we want to weigh, and now I don't. I don't have
yeah.
I don't honestly care what my weight is as long as my body fat and muscle mass is tracking. And I think societally as a woman to change that mindset is a long process and a slow process because we've been taught so many ways that we should be very much obsessed with that and worry about what that says about us
Hmm.
because you're equating a number with value on yourself and that's just ridiculous. So I think since I've been able to separate that, truly separate it, not just in theory, but like I really have separated myself from it at this point. It's taken work. I am so much happier to not be obsessed about it and
Yeah.
thinking about it constantly, which is funny because I think a lot of people, when they're at this percentage of body fat, they would be obsessed.
Yeah.
They would have to be to get there.
Right.
And I'm not. Like, I'm really not. I think the last time I was at this weight, I was starving myself to be here, and I am the farthest thing from that.
Yeah.
So I am a foodie at heart, and, that hasn't changed.
Yeah. I think that's such a, again, the testament. It's not to like sacrifice everything. And this is such a horrible, morbid example, but like you could do a shitload of chemotherapy and lose a fucking 100 pounds and you'd feel
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And again, horrible example, like morbid example, but it is like there is a, if you, that's the only thing, which I do unfortunately think that that's still a lot of people's mindsets, especially women, is like,
Mhm.
I need to lose this amount of weight. It's like, well, what if, is that actually the thing? Or is it all the other things that you just described, like the things that you can perform in your everyday life to be able to enjoy it more?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think it's probably a little bit of not necessarily both, because again, you're probably celebrating some of those numbers, but it's not at the detriment of your performance. I think it's
Right.
inverse. Yeah.
Well, right. And honestly, like even if I hadn't hit that 100-pound mark, if I stayed at 95 pounds that's still amazing.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still really happy with that. That's not, I'm not knocking any of that. It's still 50 pounds is amazing, let
Yeah.
alone getting up to that.
Right.
It's great.
Right. It's a cool. Are you more comfortable with it now? And maybe I'm asking. Maybe I read into like the first way you told me this a couple of weeks ago when you kind of you somewhat not backed off of it, but you were like kind of qualified it a little bit. Are you more comfortable with that now, or again, maybe I
I
read
think I
into it?
am. I think it was still like, I did this. I don't know how I feel about this, but it's a cool and I want to share, but I'm also not the person who's going to go blast it all over social media. Like that's just not
Yeah.
my style.
Yeah.
So, I share within my circle of like, hey, I did this thing and I'm kind of excited about it.
Why not? Why not share it on social media or like make a big deal about it?
I, I don't know, honestly. I don't know that I've really self-evaluated for that, to be honest, of why that would be a thing, honestly.
We don't have to do that publicly if you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know that I've self-reflected of why haven't I shared this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I am now.
Yeah. No. Right. And I think I didn't think I strong armed you into it. I think you were I think you were willing to do this. But there is an interesting thing that I've noticed with people that they are not excited about sharing accomplishments because and I'm not saying this is you necessarily, but like
Mhm.
it's a bit of a weird thing, and it just feels, I don't know if it's braggadocious or if it's, I don't know. And again, I'm not sure that that's how you feel or not, but I think it's important for people to do these things as an inspiration to say, hey, I know what it's like. I've been there. And especially for you as a coach within our community to say, look at somebody and be like, I know what it feels like to weigh 100 pounds more than I do. And I know what it
Yeah.
feels like to go through the journey of, losing and plateauing and possibly gaining. And, that's, like you said, it's been 10 years since you started the gym.
Yeah.
And that's a story that I find, both yours and any other sort of accomplishment. I think there are so many people who say all the negative things about social media that you want, and I will too. There are so
Mhm.
many people who are seeking understanding and seeking success stories to know that they can get out of the place that they're in. And so because a lot of people are at 100 pounds, that's a lot. Some people probably think, I bet most people probably think I'm too far gone.
Yeah,
But
I could see that. I remember when I started at the gym, just being I was so out of shape. I mean, you remember, I couldn't run around the block without an asthma attack, let alone, just some of the basic movements we were doing, we're squatting, at that time when I was doing pull-ups, I was like black and green band
mm-hmm.
level of assistance to get myself, sort of the bar to where I am now. I mean, it's a long journey. I would not be what I consider a natural athlete. I've had to work for every part of it.
Yeah,
There are those of us like you who can just be like, yeah, I think I'm going to try that and I'm going to do it. And I have to, break down every part of it and overthink it in so many ways
yeah,
before I can accomplish the same thing. And so I'll eventually get there, but it's an eventually,
yeah,
it's not a this is going to happen today thing.
yeah. But yeah, but now I would never have. I would push back on that a lot and be like, holy, like I watch you doing things in the gym. Like, dude, look at you go. Like, you are now kind of the person that can you pick it up and do the thing.
But it was a process to get there. Like it
For sure.
wasn't a quick thing.
No, right. Yeah. And I love that. I think it's just cool. I guess what I was trying to convey is there are so many people who feel isolated or alone, or they're too far, or they're genetically predisposed to, this is just who I am forever.
Right.
I don't have the ability, the kinesthetic awareness. It's a genetic thing in my family that I'm just going to be 100 pounds
Well,
overweight forever.
and the approach I took to that, because I do have that genetic predisposition to obesity, to, a lot of health issues. I always joke with my doctors, like, it'll be quicker for me to tell you what's not on our family history than to tell you it is, like, honestly. So I look at that and I'm like, I don't want that for myself. And, I started this journey when I was newly a single mom of 5 kids and I needed to be there. There wasn't anyone else here. I was in this journey by myself and I didn't have a support system and I needed to become the fittest best version of myself so that
Mm,
I could be here long term for my kids. And so I looked at, what do I need to change in my life to do this? Everything. I
yeah.
needed to change everything, but I wanted to do it in a realistic way. And so started at the gym, and here we are.
Yeah, that should. I'd like you to elaborate on the "here we are" part, like the what happened in the middle, like what the changes. Like I'm sure.
Well, I mean, therapy, a whole lot of crying
Yeah.
in between. But really, I think the biggest thing was just showing up. And I say that because that's something we always say, and it's kind of glib, but really just that long term consistency of like, I wasn't perfect. Things were not easy. There were days that I cried on the gym floor.
Mhm.
There were days that I went out on a super high and was like, I can't wait to get back in there. And there were days where I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go to the gym today. I don't feel like doing my meal prep, but you do the thing
Yeah.
because you need to do the thing and you have to look at the long term goals. But there's just as many days where, I enjoyed my life. And
Yeah.
I went to the birthday parties and I went to the events and I ate the cake and I did the things and I still did all this enjoying life. So there's a way to find balance in that. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is finding that balance. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is like, you have to have a balance to being realistic and what your expectations are and setting attainable small goals. If I would have set this big goal of like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, I would have thought, I don't know that I can do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
But doing it in the way that I did, like, I'm going to start with 10 pounds and then 20 and go from there. And I'm going to work on my pull-ups. I'm going to start, with doing the banded pull-ups and then the chin over the bar holds. And it's just progressions. And I think it's progressions in life, right? Just building upon the skills and strengths that you have and starting where you're at and going from there.
Yeah. Did you set like show up goals when you started? Do you remember?
I did. I did what most people did. And I was like, I'm going to be there every day. And I was.
You
And
were.
I was there every day for quite a while until I realized it's maybe not realistic to be there or healthy
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
And then I got more realistic with it and scaled that down a bit. And I only train 4 days a week now, at the gym. I still have things I do outside of the gym, but actual like strength training, it's just 4 days a week. So I'm
Jeez.
not killing myself here.
Wow. Right.
Yes, but for me, it's just
No,
right.
no,
Like,
totally. Yeah, it's no, and that's I'm glad you said that. And there are some other things I actually haven't alluded to or mentioned, like 5 kids. You have another job, or you own a business. You
I
work at the
do.
gym. You're very busy. This isn't. This is not. Man, I don't want to whatever make anybody feel bad about, but like this is, you're not just a kept woman that gets to just show up at the gym for 3 hours a day and like have somebody
I'm
pay
still
you.
trying to be. Maybe one.
No offense to them, but that's not you. That's not how this story
Yeah.
happened. You didn't hire a personal chef and someone to
No.
like drag you out of bed every day to go to the gym for 3 hours. Like this is real
No.
life. You're actually, I mean, you have a
I just.
shit ton
I
of
think it's all about
excuses.
priorities, right?
Yeah.
What's important to you? What are your long-term things that are important? And if it is being your fittest, strongest, healthiest self, then that's a priority.
Yeah.
And you have to schedule that into your day, just like you do anything else, just like you're doing your work, your meetings, taking your kids to the doctor. I structure my schedule around, okay, I'm doing this, but when's my training time?
Hmm.
And then I base my schedule around that. I'm kind of backwards than most people, I think. Everyone else is like, when can I fit it in? I don't do that. It's
Well,
going to fit in.
and here you are. I mean, that's why this has worked for you. And that's how I'm the same. I mean, again, I will never understand. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will, but I don't think that I'll understand what it feels like to have to like put in that much work because again, lucky genetic luck, and I found the gym early, and so blah blah blah. But like that has
Mhm.
always been a priority for me. Like, okay, I'm all these other things are going to happen, but I'm also going to do this thing, and
Mhm.
that sounds so. I tell that to people all the freaking time. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, just be here 3 days a week. Like, and that has to happen, and that's it.
Well, and I think that one of the benefits I found that I didn't know I was going to find when I started at the gym, was just that mental health aspect.
Mm.
Being a single mom, I don't get a lot of breaks. It's a little better now that my kids are older, but especially back then, 10 years ago when my kids were a lot younger,
Oh yeah,
that 1 hour a day when my kids would be at school or daycare or wherever,
yeah,
it felt selfish to take that time. It really did back then, but I needed it.
Yeah.
and I needed it to become a nicer person. And to this day, this has not changed. My kids can tell the days when I train versus the days that I don't based on my patience level with them. So it's
Yep.
been beneficial for everyone in this house that I started training.
Uh-huh. I get the same question. Have you worked out today? No. What do you mean? Maybe you should go work out and come
How can you
back in a
tell?
better mood.
Yes.
Shut up. Okay, fine. Yeah, I get that. But again, same things I tell people this all the time. I'm sure you tell people all this all the time. Like, you take care of yourself first and you'll be a better person. Just show up, make it, schedule it like it's a point with, it's schedule the gym like it's a point with anybody else. And
Yes.
like, all those things are so easy to say, but to actually do and that's all it really takes. And
Well, I
all
think it's
for 10
so
years.
much. Just do it for 10 years.
Right.
I think it's a lot simpler than people try and make it out to be, honestly.
I know.
I mean, I think when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to your workouts, it doesn't have to be this crazy complex thing. You just show up, you put in the time, you eat the food. You know, it's just long term. Doing it over long term is what's going to make the difference.
And I'm going to ask you a leading question, but I'm assuming that every day in the gym is not 100% full out effort.
No, there are some days that I'm definitely just going through the motions, and that I'm not, that whole, we've been at the gym training with a lot of the RPE, the rate of perceived exertion.
Yeah,
And what I like to tell everyone and what I like about it is some days your 100%,
totally.
like on a Wednesday, is going to be different than what your 100% on that Friday is going to be. And it's where you're at for that day that matters. And that's what you're basing it off of. So maybe on Tuesday, I'm working out at like 60% of what my normal is. That's okay. I'm still moving. I'm still doing the thing. I'm still growing through that. Even though at that time it may feel like I'm kind of sandbagging a little bit, that's okay.
Yep.
Because that's what my body needs at that time.
Yeah.
Versus, I could come in 2 days later and just absolutely crush it and hit PRs and feel awesome and, win, so to speak, that workout. And that's okay. That can have both polar opposites in the same week, and that's normal.
Again, something that I've told to so many people, and I don't think they believe me or whatever, but that it's sometimes half ass is whole ass. Like, that's all you got. And you just walk in the fucking door and that's all you got. Like, I try not to be, but I'm certainly like that sometimes where I'm like, I'm not in the best mood. Like, I'm gonna go in the back and just do some
Yes.
things, and that's all I got. But I'm here and I did it, and tomorrow's gonna be better, I hope.
Check it off the list.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people getting themselves into trouble thinking that it's got to be,
I think
they
that's
got
how
to
a lot
get
of people
killed.
get injured,
Totally.
honestly.
Yep.
I think just pushing way too hard, way too often. Like, I don't think it's normal or safe for everyone to come in and just be like 90 to 100% every single day. I think that's,
You can't.
the stupidest thing you could do, honestly.
Yeah, you really can't. And I've seen injuries, burnout, people quitting.
Yeah.
And actually, the framework of this is so perfect. I said this to somebody yesterday. It was in a different context. It was actually about business, but I was like, okay, you have to figure out how you can do this for 10 years. Like, can
Yeah.
you go at this pace for another 10 years? I'm not sentencing you to this, but like, you need to operate in a way that you could sustain this pace
Yes.
for a decade. And if you can't, like, I'm not saying you got to quit, but you need to, like, just again, tone it down a little bit, because what's the fucking point if you can't do it for that long?
Right. What are you working towards?
Yeah. And again, for you, it's just, I think that's ironically the exact time frame that we're talking about, and that it's worked, and that it wasn't, at least for my, and I actually would be curious to hear your perspective. Like, what were did you have setbacks? Did you have,
Oh,
big swings? And
yes. So I mean, just even this last year in that race that I went and did, which I say I loved it, and you're gonna think I'm crazy because I really hurt myself during that race. And so I've had people ask, like, well, was it worth it? Yes, it was to me. I tore 2 ligaments in my ankle, but that didn't stop me from continuing to work through. I mean, at one point early in, I tore my bicep tendon and rotator cuff, partial tears at the same time.
mm,
Super painful. I've had a lot of back issues through the years that
mm-hmm.
I've worked through and worked on strengthening my back and my core. And so life happens to the best of us.
Yep.
And there's going to be things at home, things with the kids. I've had different kids, 5 kids, the odds are against me. There's been someone in the hospital or injury, or like, my daughter having her gallbladder out, emergency appendectomy, all the things,
Yeah.
that can happen.
Yeah.
With my 5 kids, one of them has had it happen at some point. And so I always say life happens to the best of us. And it's what do you do in that moment that happens, that's going to determine your success, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do you let that be your like, that's it, I can't do anymore? Or do you say, that's it for today, maybe even this week, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to pick right back up where I left off. I mean, you can't expect perfection from yourself in anything all the time.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic in any aspect of your life. And you have to choose like, okay, I like totally binged today, blew it, whatever. That's okay. You move on. Next meal, make a good choice. That's okay.
Totally. And or just show up to the gym. Like, not, again, that's not to say that you can outwork the bad, like, that's such a cliche thing to say. But at the same time, it is like, okay, well, shit, you made bad decisions over the weekend, or what they might consider bad decisions. Like, that's fine. Get back on the, go back to the gym on Monday. You just, that is the balance that I think most people, and it can't be two extremes. Treating your body terrible over the weekend and then going hard at the gym all week.
Right.
But
maybe not the best idea.
At the end of the day, it's like the consistent, the slow. It's a season. That's a older me understanding that there are the seasons of life.
Yes.
It's very hard to predict when they end, when they start, what it is, like when it's, how bad it's going to get or how good it's going to get. But that they all end, unfortunately, or fortunately. But the point is just keep going.
Yeah. And I think, I talk to a lot of the new members who are coming in or who are thinking about joining the gym. And one of the things they say, well, I want to start, but I want to wait until, 3 months from now because things will be a little better in my life then. There's never going to be a good time to start anything. I mean, there's just not. Life keeps happening. It just keeps changing every day. And so you just have to decide, I'm going to do the thing.
Yeah.
And do it.
That's it. Otherwise, you're going to have a total of like 16 weeks in the gym. It's going to be like that second week of September through the second week of November. It's going to be January, 15th through March 15th. Like there's just a couple of windows where life just happens to coincide with not people being here or traveling or work or so. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You just gotta keep showing up. And you acknowledged this a second ago, but one of the things I think you've done really well is just asking for help. Yes. Like with your with injuries, with nutrition, with whatever, you just you're very coachable and very eager to ask, and I've always enjoyed that, is helping, and I know you've asked other coaches, so yeah.
I do. I'm not shy with asking because none of us know everything, and there's different people with different strengths, and I do not purport to know everything, but I want to learn. So I think the more information we can take in, the better, and I'm all about that.
Why are people so afraid to ask? I mean, you're coaching now a lot. I imagine that when people ask you a question, it's exciting. You're like, oh, sweet. And if you either know, you have a theory, you have some basis of understanding. And if you don't, it's an opportunity for you to learn, right? Yes, that's how I feel. So do you have any idea why people are so afraid to be a squeaky wheel or to ask?
I think people worry about being a nuisance, to be that person who's constantly pinging. And so I have moments of that, but I'm still not afraid to ask, where I'm like, I don't know if now's a good time. So if I'm bothering one of the other coaches, I'll preface it with hey, if you have a minute, can I bother you about whatever? Sure. So I'm I'll give them the out if they don't, but because you don't want to be a bother, but I really want to know this. Could you help me?
Okay, that's fair. If I'm out at dinner with my wife, please don't walk up to my table and ask me about what you should order. That's maybe a bound. But other than that, I mean, yeah, there are few boundaries, but at the same time, it's just fun. That's why we all got into this as coaches, is to learn and help and turn around and offer our experiences and expertise to people so that they can do what you and I are doing right now. This is awesome.
And just say, please learn from my mistakes. Don't do this. Do this. This works so much better. Don't do what I did.
Let me tell you some stories about dumb decisions and things I've tried or done or whatever. Yeah, that's I don't know. So sorry, I was asking you about setbacks and stuff. So you had injury stuff. I don't think did you ever stop coming to the gym?
No, I think at most, even through injuries, even I think the most I ever took off was like a week.
Mm-hmm.
With injuries, just, there's always something you can do,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So, like, even though I couldn't use my ankle and was no weight for, 2 weeks or whatever it was, and then in a boot from there on, there were still so many other things I can do. And so, with my shoulder, I mean, okay, I can't use this arm, but I've got my legs, I've
Yeah,
got this arm, I've got all these other things I can do. I think once you wrap your mind around, there's always something you can do, and that's what our job as coaches are, is to help you figure out what is that. You don't know, that's okay, show up. We're going to help you figure it out.
totally.
That's where I think a lot of people get frustrated and give up because they're like, well, I just don't know what to do. You don't have to know. Show up. We're going to help you figure out what to do.
Yes. And again, there's some creativity that makes it fun to say.
Yeah.
It's super easy to come up with a program for this. Here, this is it. For the perfect person who has no injuries and is adaptable as hell, like, here, hot damn. Just keep adding
Yeah.
weight every week to the thing.
Right.
That's easy. But yeah, I've got a client right now who's he can't use his hands. And we still got 3 more weeks. He had a surgery for carpal tunnel syndrome. And it's like, we've been doing 3 weeks of no hand stuff. And he's still there 3 days a week. And he just trusts me to come up with something. And there's a lot of people that stub their toe and they're like, I should probably just quit and I'll check back in 6 months. Like, oh my God. Same. There's never going to be perfect. You and
Yeah.
I have stuff that acts up every now and again and I don't do certain things and then it gets better and then it moves around. The target moves. So
Yes. Well, I think especially, when you get past your 40s, it's the running joke, like there's always something popping up,
yeah,
like something that hurts, something that's uncomfortable. That's just life and living life. And I think, especially, as most of us coaches are living life outside of the gym as well, doing all the adventures we want to do, that's where things are typically happening is there. And because we go to the gym, we're able to recover faster
yeah,
and better and handle it better than I think everyone else in the general population would.
totally. And I think there's really 2 really stupid pathways for that. The fact that, yes, it's going to happen. Like if you use your body, there are going to be things that just don't agree with you all the time. And the 2 stupid paths are quitting movement or whatever it is altogether, or pushing through it.
Yes.
And it's like there's both. That's 2 extremes, right down the middle of like, hey, maybe I'll stop bending for 8 weeks. Like that's great. Who cares? Like that's easy.
Right.
That will probably get you going.
I think what's what I'm always telling people, if there's pain, you need to respect that pain.
Right.
Like, don't push through it. That's never worth it.
Right. We're 32 minutes into this, and there's no secret that we have said that you like. There wasn't some magic thing that you figured out, which we can get into if there is something for sure.
No, there's no magic pill. There's no quick fix here. It's really just consistency and showing up and doing the thing. And I know that's not the answer necessarily everyone wants to hear. And I kind of laugh when people are like, how long did it take you to get here? Just 10 years. No
But
big
you're still
deal.
going. That's the part. Like that's part of it. It's like this is not you're not
Well,
done.
and I think that's what people don't understand is like once you hit your goals, you just move that goalpost, right? So it's not like I feel like I'm done in my journey. Not by any means. I'm still going to keep pushing and see where I can go. And that changes how it looks depending on where I'm at in my life as to what that goal is. But I'm still hitting goals. I'm still setting them out there so I have something I'm working towards.
What's your relationship with the fact that moving the goalposts can be very detrimental to some people? Like that was a poorly phrased question and observation, but like, how well are you able to celebrate your achievements, then also saying like, sweet, like what else can I do?
Pretty good,
Yeah.
actually. So I like to sit in it for a minute, because I do. I want to enjoy it for a minute. Like I just did this thing and that was pretty cool. But it kind of is just a minute, like I'll take a day or two and I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And I'll tell a couple people and I'm excited. I'm like, well, what next? What do I want to do next?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got to think about this for a second and figure out what my next move is. So it's not a super complex thing for me because even while I'm doing the things I'm doing, like for example, working towards this 20%, pull up
Mm-hmm.
body weight that I want to do, I still have other ideas that are floating around in the back of my mind of like where I want to head. So it's not like I'm just creating it out of thin air after I accomplish it. I think we all have different things we're working on all the time. There's just different ones we're more focused on.
How did your level of like personal contentment change based on hitting these goals?
I think for me, learning, and I think everyone who's come on your podcast has probably said this, but learning I can do hard
Mm,
things. I mean, really hard things where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this workout type of hard. Like, this might be the end of me. Learning I can make it through. It's just a moment in time. It makes everything else seem more doable.
hmm
Does that make
hmm
sense? Where it's like, yeah, I can do
Totally.
really hard things. And so that goal's out there. It's going to take work to get there, but nothing really seems unachievable to me at this point
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just know that I can do it. And I think that mind shift that I've had over the years, because it was work to get there,
Yeah.
to realize that has been the most satisfying thing. And the biggest transformation in myself is like just the mentality behind nothing is unachievable, that I really can do pretty much so far. Anything that I've decided I want to do.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how hard am I willing to work to get there.
I love it. I mean, and again, easy, very easy to say. I struggle with this one too, but like that mindset and the full like embracing of that is the goal, in my opinion. And I think that that's a hard thing for people to initially comprehend because they have a
Mhm.
fixed number in mind and they will not be happy until in their minds, they will not be happy
Yes.
until they've lost that weight or they've done the thing. And what troubles me a lot about both fitness, and I've seen it in business, and again, I deal with this myself in some cases where it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I did that thing. Well, now I'm a piece of shit if I don't do the other thing. It's like, and again, I've heard it and I've tried to tell people like that's in our first meetings to be like, look, losing 10 pounds isn't going to make you happy. And they're like, wait, what? Like, I walked in here ready to pay you money to make me happy
Right.
with the 10 pounds thing. I'm like, well, that was never the thing. It was the understanding of what you just said, that the mindset to say, I can, like, that's no big deal. I'm not identified by that number. I'm identified by the fact that I can't accomplish it.
Mhm.
And again, I think that's the real goal, which is very woo woo, but I think it's true.
I think it is true. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on it. It's just their mindset.
Yeah. So in a changing of your identity, like what did that feel like? Has that been,
It's been interesting.
yeah,
And more from like almost a third person standpoint, like kind of outside looking in. Um, when like this is just on the top of my brain because it's been recent. I've been posting my pull-up videos
yeah,
fairly regularly because it's something I'm pretty excited about. And I'll have people, out in public who haven't necessarily commented on my video, but they'll say, "Oh, I've been watching that and you're really inspiring." And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"I am? Really? Okay, that's cool because in my mind, I have a very small circle, and you don't necessarily realize how much outwardly you're projecting to others. And I think it's been really interesting to get comfortable in that of like, no, people are paying attention and they are watching, and this is a cool thing, and it's okay to be proud of it. I think that's been an interesting perspective to kind of wrap my head around, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you are. And I think you've stepped into the role as a coach in that way really strongly. I mean, obviously I feel that way, but I think other people would share that experience too, like where you've just been able to turn around and say, hey, look, I did the thing. Like, let me help you do the thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I did think I asked like what your identity shift was in that. Like, and yeah, that you are now an inspiration and you're like somebody that people really like respect and look up to in that way. Not, I'm sure they always did, but in this capacity, like that's cool.
I think when you have a big change, right? Like any big change, and not everyone at the gym knows me for who I used to be
Right.
back then,
Right.
right? So, but there are those who do, and I think them watching that slow, steady transformation is like we all see the people who start and then stop.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I've just been going and continuing this journey throughout the years. And I think that says something to people that you just, and I just keep saying it over and over. You just got to put in the work. You got to be consistent. That matters.
Totally.
And I think that whole thing of like, if I can do this, truly anybody can do this. I mean, really, truly anyone can do this if I can accomplish this.
Yeah. I say again, it's another thing that's said all the time to people. Like, the fitness thing for me again doesn't necessarily relate to people so much, but like the business thing, like I don't know, like I've made so many mistakes and dumb shit. Like I just anyone can do this. Like why not? But it is a lot of it's just time and knowing that like yeah, it's and like it's like it's such a stupid and cliche thing to say, but it is just like not quitting and knowing that
Mhm.
I don't know, no people aren't special, and that's something I've learned like many times over to realize like wait a minute, like you're a I see. Okay, cool. You have flaws. You were born into this situation. You have, et
Mhm.
cetera, et cetera. And then they just decided, like, I'm not quitting and I'm going to go do the thing. And sure as shit, they did it.
Yeah,
So,
I think that matters.
yeah. So, man, unfortunately, no secrets, huh?
Nothing, nothing big and astounding, but if you come talk to me personally, then I'll share.
Yeah, right. Exactly. For $9.99, we can
That's right.
do the thing. Okay, so what do you say? Let's see. Start, don't stop. Be coachable.
Be coachable. Yeah.
Don't push yourself through injuries. Oh, speak that I do actually. You briefly glossed over this, but that race you should talk about. You should just mention what that was and what you what your thing was because that's a good
So I
story.
was on a team of ladies and we were doing a relay race. So you're running with 35 pounds of weight on your back, plus your gear, your water, all that. So a little more, but I tried to get really close to that for your weight. And then or my leg, I was running literally down a mountain and just cruising through this race. And about 3 miles in, I was rounding a corner and was running through that, just soft, powdery moon dust that you couldn't see what was underneath, and hit a rock and rolled my ankle and did a beautiful roll
Mm.
with my pack still attached and did that self assessment of like, am I okay? Like, did I just survive? And I knew I had hurt myself, but I don't think I realized how bad I had hurt myself. And so I got up and kind of felt it out. And yeah, it's hurting, but I think I can continue. So after the 3 miles where I injured myself, I continued another 10 miles and finished my leg up the race because I am stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
let's be real, and wanted to finish. So I did. A little bit slower than what I anticipated finishing in, but I finished it. And so we did this race with five of us, and it was pretty fun. It was the Emory Corwin Memorial Ruck Race, which is a really cool event that I recommend to everyone.
Yeah, similar. I mean, similar, and again, the injury thing that sucks, but it was just kind of like one foot in front of the other. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's you just kind of like
just keep moving.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, that was a pretty big setback. I mean, you were in a boot for a long time. That was
I was. And it felt like a little bit of that. I had that moment of feeling sorry for myself, afterwards when I was in the boot and like, hop along Cassidy over here at the gym. I had moments of feeling sorry for myself. I don't want to say I'm like this perfect being who doesn't ever feel down, but I knew it was temporary and that I was going to heal, and I'm still healing from it. I mean, a year later, I'm still healing from it. I still haven't totally regained my full mobility yet. So
yeah.
probably will be a little bit longer, but I'm still here. I'm still doing the thing.
Yeah, slowed you down. Again, didn't finish as fast as you wanted. There's probably more. That's a bigger metaphor than you probably meant it. But like, none of this has been as fast as you may have thought or wanted, and you stumble along the way, and I don't know, get tossed upside down. But yeah, just, I don't know. I love it. I'm thrilled for you. I love how you're just such a great representation of this whole thing. And
Thank you.
I don't know. It's been so cool to watch you do what you're doing, and watch you continue to do these amazing things. So
Thanks. I'm excited to keep learning and keep doing the stuff. And I really enjoy coaching and working on some more certifications to back up what I think I know, so that I can confidently say, yes, I know this. And
that never happens. To be clear, I'm
I'm
not sure.
hoping I get there.
That's the pursuit of that is great. I still think probably answer a lot of stuff people ask me with like, I'm not sure, but this is what I think. So, and that's
Right.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah. What's that you're working on?
Currently working on through Girls Gone Strong. It's a specialist certification working through menopause and women specific issues that you deal with, with perimenopause and menopause and different, I mean, everything from like lupus to Hashimoto. It's like how all the different, diseases can play into your fitness and nutrition. And how we work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it is. I think, again, something I'll never be able to really relate to, but the kind of resurgence or rise in understandings of those things and helping women like realize like it's not an injury, but the fact that like, okay, we can work through this. Like there are changes and modifications and you are an individual that we need to understand how we can best help you. Like that has been so cool to see. And
I love that it's a conversation piece now, that you can go anywhere on social media and people are talking about it, because not that long ago, you never heard about it. There was no information. Nobody was talking about it. It
no,
wasn't a thing. And I love that that's a conversation now that people are openly having and talking about. And like even in the gym, you'll hear people talking about, well, I'm in perimenopause and my hormones are all over, and this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm working on. And I think it's great.
I
I
just think
love that we're having open conversations about it now.
yeah, I think there's been such a good cultural shift where the previous generations, it was like, we'll just bite down on the leather and this is gonna suck and you are not gonna feel like yourself anymore. But this is what this is the journey of life. So sorry.
Good luck for the
Yeah.
next 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made your kids. Now get out of the way. It's like, in fact, I had some clients that they're in Mexico and they said that that's very much still the prevailing culture where it's like they're not that population is not interested in the fact that they could not feel that way and they can feel like themselves again. But
Interesting.
there's no uptake on, at least where they are.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing. And again, same thing where like there is a resurgence of, I don't know, joy and excitement from some of the populations and women we see in our classes, and they feel better. Their bone densities improve. Their body fat decreases. Their energy goes up. They feel like, I don't know. It's just cool. I love it.
It is really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I will let you go on about to the rest of your busy day, I'm sure. So, but thank you so much for being who you are and sharing this all with me and with everybody else and inspiring the world to do cool shit.
All right. You're welcome.
All right. I'll see you later today, I'm sure.
All right. See you later.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Thanks for listening. If you need some help with again, it's hard, but it's not complicated. Consistency, accountability, working through injuries, all the things that we talked about, nutrition. If you're in menopause, premenopause, perimenopause, all the things, we can help. There's somebody who's been here or who is here, who's been through it or who has some experience with it. And we know that we can help you. All you need to do is reach out and take that first step. If that's you, Kenny at sandpointstrength.com is my email, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. All right. See ya.